The Indian Software Product Industry Roundtable, iSpirit, a think tank dedicated to transforming India into a hub for new gen software products, held its very first event, Innofest, in Bengaluru recently at the TATA auditorium. The event was inaugurated by Mr. Jayant Sinha, Union Minister of State for Finance, Government of India.
Very exciting to see Innofest getting started. I hope you all will have a great time. Of course, Bangalore is buzzing with innovation. So I think today is going to be a very exciting day where my understanding is there'll be somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000 people here, all talking about innovation and all talking about how we can solve India's problem.
India has gone up on the entrepreneurial scale, but India has not done well on the innovation scale. So we thought that we should showcase innovation from all over this country, and we must showcase them by bringing them to Bangalore, the home of innovation, in the IIC campus, where they can come and they can interact with many other innovators, because we have to improve our innovation index globally.
The festive spirit made sure innovators and innovation were celebrated in the true sense of the term. Fostering innovation and propagating the idea of a product nation, Innofest was a fine example of public and private cooperation. Innovators who had set up their innovations were seen explaining details to the dignitaries. The dignitaries interacted with the young innovators. The enthusiasm was palpable, the interaction interesting. The crowd seemed to be enjoying itself. It was the innovators who definitely impressed. Age was not at all a criterion. Let's listen to what the 11-year-old had to tell us.
My project is on virtualizing workstations. This will allow the workstations used by engineering companies to be pooled into a bigger cluster. So that these companies will be able to use them as a HPC cluster instead of having two separate computing resources. And this will reduce the over-provisioning that's typically there in most engineering companies. I thought of this idea because I noticed that most engineering companies have interactive workstations, but most of the time this is unused. So by using virtualization, they can combine this into a cluster and thereby reduce the design cycle time.
The faculty of Srishti had interesting innovations to talk about.
Srishti is an Institute of Art, Design and Technology. It's based in Bangalore. We are looking to design the new face of product design in India. We are looking at new materials, new technologies, but we are also looking at how we can do it in a frugal and sustainable way.
We started the Grids Lab, which is the grassroots innovation design studio, where we identify innovative capabilities in far-flung rural areas of India, where people have made innovative products using very less resources and very less infrastructure. Our work is to take those innovations and take them to another level of feasibility, where it becomes a successful product. So like this, we have worked on about 13 to 20 different kind of products, some large, some small. One of the most successful of our products is the road cleaner, which you can see here. It's for cleaning the roads, and it's for cleaning large areas, dry leaves, dust, etc., etc. And it also stores the dust inside chambers, and it lets it off. Another one of the a very successful product was this seesaw washing machine, where the whole work of washing can become like a fun thing, where the children can participate. We don't want our product design students to create just one more washing machine or one more car in the market. We want them to go out there into the rural settings where facilities are less, designers don't go. We want them to go there and be value.
Another innovator, Rahul, went on to explain what he had created.
I'm the co-founder of Proxynode. So basically what we do is we're building a location-aware content delivery network. So based on where you are in the real world, content gets pushed to you. So you walk into an airport or a bus stop, your flight schedules, ads, what you require gets pushed to you at that point of time when you need it the most. So basically we have this small devices called beacons. So these are Bluetooth low energy device. It emits a unique ID which is mapped to real world location, and that is mapped to some content. So when you are near that beacon, some content gets pushed to you.
Students and innovators too impressed with what they had come up with.
Last 2 months back there was an event in S.R. Chandrasekhar Institute of Speech and Hearing. There was one guy from Infosys who was sitting in the panel, but he was mute, so he could not actually talk to people. So that really moved me to take this forward and make it a complete system. So this is a glove for sign language conversion for people who cannot speak. So the glove has a Bluetooth in it, and there is a Bluetooth module, and there are sensors for all the fingers, and there's an accelerometer. So it basically takes the gesture and puts it in the form of text in the cell phone, and the text can be converted into speech. And we are working on an app to convert it directly into speech. So this is the design of the glove.
I am working on the project called Instra Insulin Tracker. So basically last year I had met a couple who are both diabetic, and they told me that they face a lot of problems using these insulin pens. So I thought of coming up with a solution to address those problems. So the thing is, these are insulin pens that diabetic patients use in order to administer their insulin dosages. Now the thing is, there are a lot of problems associated with it such that patients cannot remember, they cannot keep a track of their dosage, they cannot remember if they have taken their dosage or not, and when have they taken, how much have they taken, and things like that. So in this project we have come up with an add-on module that can fit on top of any typical insulin pen, and it can extract the information such as how much dosage and when has the dosage been taken, and it stores it in the local memory. Also, it has a Bluetooth module, so it can connect wirelessly to your phone, and it sends all those information to an application sitting on the phone. Now once the information is transferred to the application gives you reminders about your dosage. It shows a complete log of all the information there. Also patients have to carry the pen all the time along with them. In case they do not do that, when you are moving out of the house, the app basically gives you a notification saying that you might be forgetting to carry your pen along with you. It sends automated emails of the logs to your doctor. It also tells you when you should when you should change the cartridge in your pen. So it's a complete insulin intake management system that we are trying to build as an add-on module for any typical pen in the market.
Basically, this project is called as Mind Control Board. My inspiration got from one of my friends. My school is got more like got an accident and lost his leg. So it was more like that. I got into inspiration and started with working on this project. Moreover, this particular technology is a new technology. It's just recently they got into it. It's called brain-computer interface. So actually, it's more like controlling stuff switching your brain. So it's simply a headset which could be able to get your signals, brain signals. Like if you go to a doctor, you get EEG signals, right? So it completes the same device in a smaller factor. So what I'm doing is that based upon my mind thoughts, I could actually able to control the bot. It's wirelessly paired via Bluetooth. So I have made some algorithm on it so that I could be able to actually convert the raw data into the real data. There are few data like alpha, beta, gamma and theta. So based upon that, I could be able to control the speed of the motor. I could even be able to make it move left and right. So I made a smaller prototype. So some of the other use cases will be like I can make an app out of it. The app can be like completely brain controlled app. So someone who has an arm, they can completely use it just with their mind. It's more like a non-physical interaction to a device. Again, we can even make a wheelchair out of it. So that someone who can't walk, they can even use it like their own without any physical interaction to control, need an external device to control it. And the third use case will be more like someone who's amputated, someone who doesn't have a hand or leg. they can fix a mechanical leg or arm to it, and they can actually control it using their mind itself.
Mr. Sharad Sharma of iSpirit gave credit to his team of volunteers and had this to share.
Bold momentum comes from these passionate volunteers who take on a responsibility and get it done. And then, of course, the fact is that why are we doing this is because we believe that we are creating these public goods like this festival that will enable lots of newcomers to come and become successful faster than was possible earlier, so without those public goods. And finally, of course, we couldn't have pulled all of you together without social media. We are here to make a revolution, to make India proud. So this is why we are here. Innovation-led entrepreneurship is what this is all about. This is the start of a journey. We think this will go far, and we need all your support, not merely as passive participants in Innofest, but as active participants in this innovation-led entrepreneurship movement.
Mr. Nandan Nilekani, co-founder of Infosys and former chairman of UIDAI, strongly emphasized that innovation is the key for the future.
I found that iSpirit is a remarkable organization because I worked in business, government and all that. But this volunteer movement which sort of gets together in some seamless fashion and miracles happen is something which I'm really very impressed by and excited by. I mean, Innofest is a great example. India's challenges can only be met through innovation. I think we are all convinced, all of us who are working on these issues are convinced that business as usual is not going to fix this thing. I think that if you expect same old thing, same old is not going to fix this thing. We need fundamentally disruptive innovation in every walk of life, whether it is in business, in finance, in payments, in health, education, energy. In every area you need to innovate and get 10x or 100x improvements in the products and services and then scale them up. That's the only way we're going to really fix the problems that we have. And it can only be done by harnessing and leveraging the innovative skills of Indians. The only country where 1 billion people can authenticate, 1 billion people can do KYC, 1 billion people can sign a document, 1 billion people can store the documents in a repository, and 1 billion people can transact payments with a mobile phone. And then there are people with million mobile phones and million bank accounts. So this is a fundamental revolution that is going to happen. And this revolution will happen only when innovators come up with great ideas to use these platforms to create great products. I am waiting for the first few unicorns to emerge using this technology and these tools. I hope some of those unicorns are people in this room. So once again, I think it's great. Innofest is a wonderful event with fantastic energy, volunteers, and great job, Sharad, great job, volunteers. Thank you very much.
The internet has created a marketplace where 7 billion people on this planet can come on the same platform. Everybody can come on the same platform, look at producers of goods and services, and they as consumers, they can sell equally to everybody else, and distance has almost disappeared.
Mr. Mohandas Pai, Chairman Manipal Global Education, spoke about the disruption of the power supply chain. With the overpowering presence of the middlemen, the producer and the consumer were relegated to the background. This, he said, is where innovators step in to not only reduce cost, but also directly connect the producer and the consumer.
To aid this disruption, we require innovation and we require policy. We require innovators to come and teach us how to disrupt things of unique ideas, and the power of innovation has been advanced because of the mobile phone by which you can reach everybody, the internet, cloud computing, everything else, which has reduced the cost of connecting with consumers and with producers. Now, iSpirit has come out with a new policy document which says, as a vision, that we want 100,000 startups to be created in India over the next 10 years. We want $500 billion of value to be created. We want $1 trillion, but $1 trillion looks a little bit big for people in Delhi now, so we said $500 billion. And we wanted 3 million young people to be employed. And we wanted 5 billion. Every year, 150,000 people are getting employed in the startup sector because we're having 3,500 to 5,000 startups in India, 1,200, 1,500 in Bangalore at this point of time, and $8 to $10 billion of money going into the startups. Now, the startups are going to solve India's problems. And when you solve India's problem, you need to build brand equity in India. And for brand equity in India, you raise capital in India. You are listed every day, talk about you. Today is a great day for all of us. And the next 10 years, we're going to change India. We're going to create $1 trillion of value. We're going to have 100,000 new entrepreneurs. #1 country in the world in entrepreneurship and innovation.
Dr. Kshatrapati Shivaji, Chairman and Managing Director of SIDBI, suggested that we should maintain the speed of the startup movement.
The startup movement, which Honorable Prime Minister also mentioned, the Startup India and Stand Up India. This type of activity have already started, and we all are happy to know that now the third largest number of the startups have taken place in India after US and UK. We have to maintain the speed of the startup movements and these disruptive innovations intervention across the economy, across the whole gamut of our life without fail.
Professor Anurag Kumar, Director, Indian Institute of Science, spoke about the new research centers that have been set up at IISc.
Our young people often, those who emerge from our institutions like the IITs and IISc, I often remark that today we seem to be in an economic situation where people look for jobs, for security. But I can see from the people gathered out here, I think that is changing. Today people are risk takers. They would like to follow their dreams, to convert their ideas into businesses. And I wish you all success in your endeavor.
Mr. Jayant Sinha explained why innovation is close to his heart.
I was born in Hazaribagh district. I spent the first few years of my life there in one of the most rural, backward, underprivileged parts of India. And those experiences have stayed with me throughout my life. And it has always been my desire, my hope, my belief, my mission to be able to make a difference in the lives of the people of places like Hazaribagh, Jharkhand, and all the rest of India that is facing deprivation and is not able to even meet its basic needs. That's been my mission.
He went on to explain how, just like America is the economic engine for the top 1 billion people of the world, his mission is India should be the economic engine for the next 5 to 6 billion people.
I think India can be the economic engine because if we solve India's problems, friends, and as Nandan was saying, we have to solve that through breakthrough innovation. And he's already done that, Mohan has done that, people have done that already. If we can solve India's problems, friends, then we are solving the world's problems as well. We are solving the problems of the next 6 billion people on the planet. That is our economic. The Honorable Prime Minister said, if at the bottom of the pyramid, जो उस वर्ग के लोग हैं, जो इनकम पिरामिड के एकदम नीचे वर्ग के लोग हैं, अगर उनका उद्धार हो, अगर उनकी बढ़ोतरी हो, तब पूरे इनकम पिरामिड को हम लोग आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं, पूरे देश की तरफ हो सकते हैं. That's what we do.
He also went on to share his dreams of a solar India, healthy India, clean India, amongst others.
I dream of a solar India. Why can't we build an economy that's powered by solar? I just sat in that fabulous car that was designed by these kids from Manipal and I drove it around. And I've of course had an opportunity to drive a Tesla as well when I was in the US. And as you look at what a solar economy can do, what kinds of cars we can build, what kinds of motorcycles and scooters we can build, the panels that we can put up in huts in remote far off areas, and the power electronics that will have to change if we have direct current as opposed to alternative current. There's a whole ecosystem to be built, a whole solar economy to be built that's powered through a distributed grid, not from a centralized grid. Who's going to figure all that out? All those linkages, all the interconnections, the payment and billing systems that will go with that. Solar home systems that will cost 10,000, 15,000 rupees. And with 10, 15,000 rupees, you put up a couple of panels, you have 2 or 3 LED lights, you will have a torch that is rechargeable, you have a radio that you can run, you can charge your mobile phone with it, and you can run a computer. That's what you can now do with solar, friends. So I dream of a solar India. I want you to dream that, and I think that should be part of what we can work on. I also dream about a healthy India, because there's so much innovation right now happening in healthcare delivery, in medical devices. There's a friend of mine who must be in the audience. Ashish Mantri, are you here? Where's Ashish? There's Ashish. Ashish and his team at Abhay Kotaks are doing incredible things. He is a chemical engineer from UDCT. I won't hold that against him though. But they've developed a technique for solvent extraction and purification that is doing incredible things. So for example, what they've done with cotton seed is they've been able to work with cotton seeds. They've been able to extract high quality cotton seed oil, which has more micronutrients in it than other oils that you use. and their business has gone from 30 crores to 300 crores in 4 years in cotton seed oil. And there's more, it gets better. Using that same underlying technology, they can actually work on Chinese wormwood. Chinese wormwood, which is the underlying agricultural feedstock for artemisinin, which is the medication that's used to prevent malaria. And the technology that they have developed, it's all made here in India, all designed here in India by Ashish and his team, will enable it to be able to extract artemisinin at $150 a kg compared to the Chinese prices of $400, $500 a kg. That's innovation in India to solve India's problems. I dream of an educated India. I think that what is possible now with what Khan Academy has done in the US, with what is possible with machine learning and mobile phones and smartphones, the kinds of things that Ekstep is doing, we can really leapfrog. We can really leapfrog some of the problems that we have in education in India. And so as a result of that, I dream about an educated India, an India where innovation can enable us to deal with some of our most intractable problems. And then finally, and I'm sure you all will agree with me on this, finally, I dream of a clean India. I think that there is a great opportunity for us to come up with compact waste management units. If you see every mohalla in India, हर गांव में अगर आप जाकर देखेंगे तो आपको कूड़ा नजर आएगा. हर गांव में, हर मोहल्ले में लोग अपना जो वेस्ट है उसको वहीं इंसिनरेट कर देते, तो सोचिए देश को कितनी सुविधा हो सकती है. We have to think about solutions like that, friends. We have to dream that way. You have to dream that way. India has to dream that way. And if we can solve India's problems, friends, we can solve the world's problems.
Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, Chairman and Managing Director of Biocon, stressed on the scale of operation and the power of value of ideas. She stated, leadership is transient, while innovation is king.
India needs to create 10 million jobs a year for the next 10 years if we are to really deliver on the kind of GDP growth that we want and aspire for. And these jobs are not going to come from the traditional, conventional, lifetime employment that we've seen all these decades. It is going to come from jobs of the future which are going to look very different. They are going to be created by innovators and entrepreneurs. Today, the Fortune 500 companies are rapidly being displaced by companies almost every year. Why? Because technology is disrupting the business landscape. Technology is creating new companies like never before. I think Innofest is just going to be a very, very big mega event as time goes on. The Make in India story is about innovation. The Make in India story is about entrepreneurship. And this is the only way India will deliver that non-linear growth and make us into the multi-trillion-dollar economy that Mohan just spoke about. So thank you very much, Sharad.
Mr. Babul Supriyo, Union Minister of State for Housing, spoke about the power of dreams. He regaled the audience with his popular numbers.
A dream is not something that you really see when you are sleeping. Obviously, the quote is by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. It is something that you really think when you are awake. And I think that it is very important for us to have a leader who can actually spell out his dreams and have the courage to tell India what really he's looking at to make India the way he wants to see it. It is important for us to believe that we can do it. Gautam Buddha had said, mind is everything. You become what you think you can become. Paul Coelho has said that if you really want something, the universe conspires in your favor.
कभी मुझ पे आए तो
The program ended with a photo op with the volunteers and dignitaries.